Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Angela Andrieux, and today is our new Artist Friday Ask Me Anything seminar. So if you have any questions about Luminar, about Skylum, any of our software that you'd like to get answered today, this is your opportunity. To kick things off, I have up on the screen a screenshot from our user guide of this past week's most frequently asked questions. So I want to start off by addressing a few of these and making sure you guys know where to find these resources. So the number one question that we had in the user guide this week was looking for the histogram. So let me go ahead and click over here to Luminar AI and I'll show you where to find it. I want to take a moment here and say hello to Joseph. Glad you're able to join me today. All right, so the histogram is by default hidden, but if you want to use it, all you need to do is go up to the view menu and choose show histogram. And it pops up right here at the upper right corner of your image. Now it is tiny. What you can do is if you need a larger view, what I recommend is to go into the light tool and go down here to the curve section. It might be collapsed. You just need to open up that curve section. And this is a larger view of your histogram. So you can get a better view of where your shadows are, where your highlights are, if you want to pay attention to those specific things. You also might want to know about the J key keyboard shortcut. I'm gonna hit the J key on the keyboard and you'll see that there's some blue and red highlights that just popped up on the screen. Everything that's in blue means I'm clipping in my blacks. And you can see from the histogram here, I am blocked up on the left side of the histogram. And everywhere here that has those little red spots, those are areas I've lost details in my highlights. So you can see the histogram is very faintly touching the right side of the histogram. So that's another visual representation to get that information. I can just toggle that J key to turn that off. And that's a great thing to pay attention to if you're really trying to make sure that important areas like your subject and your image have all of that really important detail. All right, let's switch back over here to the user guide screenshot again and take a look at importing templates. This is one we haven't covered in a while, and I want to make sure you guys know how to get new template packs into Luminar AI. So I'm going to go here to the Templates tab. And the first place you can go to load a new template pack is to go up to the File menu and add a Luminar AI template collection. If you go ahead and click that, you'll bring up your Finder or Explorer on your hard drive. You'll probably want to go to your Downloads folder, and you can see I have this Film Look LTC. That is a Luminar template collection that I've already downloaded. And I can click Open, and that will automatically install that here in Luminar AI. So there we go. There's my film look, and all of those templates are now here in the program, and I can click in there, take a look through those, and use those as I see fit. Now there's a couple of other places that you can add those templates. You go ahead and click back out of here. If you go to the purchase section, there's a little button to add. It does the exact same thing it does from the file menu. Or if you go into the purchase section, another add button up here at the upper right. So all of those do the same thing. There's just a few different ways to have it at your fingertips so you can add those on the fly whenever you're ready. And then once they're installed, you can go ahead and work with them. All right, let's take a couple of other questions here out of the user guide and make sure you pop any questions you have for me today into the chat. I'll do my best to get those answered for you. Scrolling down the list here, we have batch and batch processing. We covered this in depth last week. So if you go to the Skylum Software YouTube channel, look through the Luminar Coffee Break playlist. You'll find last week's we went in depth into batch processing, so I encourage you to look at that episode. And there's a lot of information that we covered. We've gone over Clone Tool before, but I think this is always a good one to look at again. So let's take a quick look here at our Clone Tool. I'm going to go over to the Edit tab, scroll down to the bottom, and this is where we find our Clone Tool. Now, as I do this, you're going to notice that the changes I've made to the image revert back to the original. And this is because Luminar AI does not work with a layers-based system. So it reverts back to the original and looks at those original pixels, and that's what we cloned from. Once we finish our cloning and exit out of the clone tool, everything will revert back, but whatever you cloned out will be gone. So I want to get rid of this little spot, this little stick over here pointing out from the side. I want to sample, let's say, right about here. And then I'll make my brush size smaller using the bracket keys on my keyboard. And I'm going to come in there with a very small brush and just brush that in and get rid of that twig there in the water. And you can get rid of all manner of distractions this way. You can also use the clone tool as an additive tool to where if you want to get rid of some of these gaps here in the leaves where the sky is really blown out, we can grab some of this area here. I can hold down my Alt or my Option key, resample, and in this case, I'm going to make my brush size bigger. And then I can brush in some of those leaves up into that area. And you'll want to resample several times. So again, hold down your Alt or Option key, grab a sample from another area, and just blend that in, and you're going to get a nice seamless result that nobody's going to know that you cloned those things in, and you've taken away some of those distractions of those brightest areas. We can even grab some from up here and fill in some of that area as well. So it's a good way to camouflage some of those really, really bright points coming through the trees. The clone tool is an awesome tool, like I said, for removing distractions or adding pixels from a different area into an area that you want to control. So you can see once we close up that clone tool, our adjustments are going to revert and everything is going to go back to its edited state, but with those distractions gone. Let's see, Dale has a question. What date does Luminar Neo come out? That is a question we're getting a lot lately. I can't give you the exact date quite yet. It should be this winter. We're on track for a winter delivery, and we'll be sharing the exact date when we get a little bit closer. If you bought Luminar AI last year via pre-order, if you recall when we released Luminar AI, I would anticipate it's going to be roughly the same time frame as we released Luminar AI last year. So just a little hint there. Hopefully that gives you a bit of additional information. All right, let's take one more look here back at the user guide. There we go. And the next thing on the list was crop. And I think we get this one a lot because our crop tool is actually called Composition AI. So if you click into Composition AI, not only do you have the ability to crop, you have perspective correction tools to straighten your horizon or to do upright perspective correction, which is great. You can manually adjust some of those 3D aspects, rotate and flip your image, and also get an automatic suggestion for a crop with the Composition AI tool. And what this does is it looks at your image and analyzes the depth of the scene, the subject, and makes a suggestion of what your crop can be. Now, sometimes I look at this and I go, you know what, that's a great crop. And other times I look at it and I'm like, you know what, I liked it better the way it was before, or maybe I just want to adjust that and bring my subject back here to the middle of my frame. I can then hit return on my keyboard and that image is ready to go. So I think that covers a lot of good info for you guys today. And if you have questions, make sure you put them into the comments below. I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And if you need to find other questions as you're going through your edits, make sure you go to that help menu, check out the user guide. It is an incredible tool, fully searchable, and you can even download a PDF copy for use offline. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed this session this Friday. I want to wish you guys a wonderful weekend. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up here on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.